Yuri Boyka is a complex and evolving character in the Undisputed franchise. His history and development over the course of the films are intertwined with his transformation from a ruthless and cold-hearted fighter to a man seeking redemption. Here is a more detailed breakdown of Boyka's history across the films. Background and early life. Yuri Boyka's exact early life is not fully revealed in the Undisputed films, but there are hints that he comes from a tough background in Russia. He is portrayed as a man who was likely raised in poverty and experienced a difficult upbringing, which played a major role in shaping his violent nature. Boyka's skills as a fighter seem to have been honed from a young age, possibly through street fighting or training in various combat sports like sambo and kickboxing. Boyka's transformation into a feared and respected prison fighter is the foundation for his character arc. His history in prison fighting, where the stakes are high and brutality is common, is essential to understanding his mindset as a fighter. It's likely that his violent tendencies were exacerbated by his time in prison, where survival depended on being the strongest and most ruthless. Undisputed II. Last Man Standing, 2006. Plot and introduction. Boyka is first introduced in Undisputed II. Last Man Standing, where he is the reigning champion of a brutal Russian prison fighting tournament. His reputation precedes him as an undefeated, vicious fighter known for his highly technical and brutal fighting style. Boyka's ruthless attitude is evident in his disdain for his opponents and his desire to break them physically and mentally. In the film, Boyka is matched against George "Iceman" Chambers, played by Michael J. White, a former boxing world champion who has been wrongfully imprisoned. Boyka initially sees Chambers as just another fighter to crush in the ring. However, Boyka underestimates Chambers, and in the climactic fight of the film, Chambers defeats Boyka in an intense battle. Character development. Despite his defeat, Boyka is portrayed as someone who will stop at nothing to reclaim his title. His arrogance and pride are central to his character at this point, and he believes that his dominance in the ring is what defines him as a person. His loss to Chambers begins a slow unraveling of his character's sense of invincibility. Undisputed III. Redemption, 2010. Plot and injury. In Undisputed III. Redemption, Boyka is facing the consequences of his brutal fighting career. In the aftermath of his defeat to Chambers, Boyka suffers a severe knee injury that requires extensive surgery. This injury threatens his career, as it could mean the end of his time in the ring and his fighting aspirations. For Boyka, his identity is closely tied to his status as a fighter, and losing that is a blow to his self-worth. Redemption arc. The film delves deeper into Boyka's quest for redemption. He is no longer the arrogant and prideful fighter he once was. Boyka now seeks to prove himself as the best fighter in the world, but he does so with a sense of humility. He is offered the chance to participate in an underground prison fighting tournament in exchange for his freedom. The tournament takes place in a brutal, foreign country where fighters are forced to fight for their lives. Boyka faces various skilled opponents, including a ruthless fighter named Turbo. Boyka's journey in this film is one of redemption, as he not only seeks to regain his title but also attempts to reconcile his violent past. In the final act, Boyka decides to fight not for fame or glory, but for personal redemption. His victory in the tournament and his changing outlook on life mark a turning point in his character arc. Moral struggle. Boyka's moral struggle is highlighted in Undisputed III. In a pivotal moment, Boyka saves a fellow fighter, Yuri, from a brutal fight despite knowing that doing so may cost him the opportunity to win the tournament. This moment shows his growth as a character, as he is no longer solely focused on winning but on doing what is right. Boyka. Undisputed IV, 2016. Plot and character development. In Boyka. Undisputed IV, Boyka has become a more self-aware character, seeking personal growth and redemption for his violent past. The film begins with Boyka living in a small, modest apartment, far removed from the fame and glory he once sought in the fighting world. However, his past catches up with him when he becomes involved in a series of events following the death of an innocent woman during one of his matches. Boyka takes it upon himself to find and take responsibility for the man's death, leading to a storyline where he works to right the wrongs of his past. Boyka is forced to participate in an underground fighting tournament to raise money for the woman's family, seeking both personal redemption and a sense of purpose beyond fighting for glory. Personal growth. In this film, Boyka becomes more empathetic and reflective. He begins to question his past as a violent, merciless fighter and seeks to make amends for the harm he's caused. His relationship with a fellow fighter, who shares his tragic backstory, helps him recognize the deeper impact of his actions. Boyka's character is no longer the man driven by pride and self-interest. He becomes a hero in his own way, fighting not for fame or money, but for honor and to make amends for the damage caused by his violent past. Ending and legacy. By the end of Boyka, Undisputed IV, Boyka has firmly chosen the path of redemption. He helps the woman's family and seeks to atone for his violent past. He leaves the underground fight world behind, and his final scene shows him training in the mountains, suggesting that he is now pursuing a life of peace. Fighting style. Boyka's fighting style is a key element of his character. He is considered one of the most complete fighters in the Undisputed series, blending elements from multiple martial arts disciplines. His skills include Sambo, a Russian martial art that combines judo and wrestling techniques. Muay Thai, known for its devastating strikes with elbows, knees, and kicks. Kickboxing, combining powerful strikes with footwork and agility. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. While not heavily focused on in the films, Boyka displays an understanding of submission grappling when the need arises. Boyka's agility and flexibility allow him to perform high-flying kicks, which have become his signature moves. His ability to adapt to any fighting style and use his surroundings to his advantage make him a dangerous opponent. Legacy of the character. Boyka has become one of the most iconic action heroes of the 2000s and 2010s, with his character being lauded for its depth, evolution, and incredible fight choreography. Scott Adkins' portrayal of Boyka has won over audiences with the intensity and authenticity he brings to the role. Boyka's evolution from a villain to a tragic antihero gives him a unique place in the action genre, making him a standout character in the Undisputed series. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Revolution Show. If you're new here, and we're about to dive into something super exciting today. Whether you're here to learn, laugh, or just pass the time, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on the fun. Let's jump right into it. Yuri Boyka is a well-developed and multifaceted character in the Undisputed film series, portrayed by actor Scott Adkins. Initially introduced as a villain, Boyka undergoes significant growth, making him one of the most memorable and compelling characters in modern action films. Here is a detailed breakdown of Boyka's character traits, evolution, and key aspects that define him across the films. 1. Personality traits. Arrogant and ruthless. Undisputed II. In Undisputed II, Last Man Standing, Boyka is introduced as an arrogant, ruthless, and highly skilled fighter. He believes himself to be the greatest fighter in the world and carries a deeply inflated sense of superiority. His pride and cruelty are evident in his interactions with others, particularly his opponents in the underground prison fighting tournament. Boyka's sense of invincibility leads him to treat his opponents with disdain, viewing them as mere obstacles to his continued dominance. Pride. Boyka's pride is a central aspect of his character. He constantly reminds others of his title as the most complete fighter in the world, and this pride drives much of his actions early on in the series. Violence. Boyka is extremely violent and takes pleasure in breaking his opponents, both physically and mentally. He has no hesitation in using underhanded tactics to defeat his rivals. Honorable. Undisputed III and IV. As Boyka's character arc progresses, his personality begins to shift. In Undisputed III, Redemption, he experiences a crisis of identity after suffering a debilitating knee injury and losing his undefeated streak. His arrogance gives way to a more introspective and morally conflicted individual. Boyka's journey becomes one of personal redemption, and he starts to seek something greater than victory in the ring. Self-reflection. After his injury, Boyka is forced to confront the violence and destruction he's caused, leading him to reflect on his past actions. He starts questioning his motivations and begins to search for a more honorable path. Empathy. In Undisputed III and Boyka, Undisputed IV, Boyka shows genuine empathy for others. He forms bonds with people who have suffered as a result of his violent actions and becomes more protective of those around him. Redemptive and morally complex. Boyka, Undisputed IV. By the time Boyka, Undisputed IV rolls around, Boyka has fully embraced the notion of redemption. He is no longer a fighter who seeks fame, money, or personal glory. Instead, He strives to atone for his past sins, and his motivations shift toward doing what is right rather than what will make him the best fighter. Sense of duty. Boyka takes responsibility for the damage he has caused, particularly the death of an innocent woman during one of his fights. His participation in an underground tournament in Boyka, Undisputed IV, is a way for him to raise money for the woman's family and make amends. Moral growth. Boyka is no longer the violent, self-centered fighter of earlier films. His arc emphasizes themes of forgiveness, redemption, and the idea that people can change if they choose to. 2. Strengths and skills. Physical power. Boyka is physically imposing, even though he isn't the largest fighter. His combination of agility, flexibility, and power makes him an exceptional athlete. His most notable trait is his incredible fighting ability, particularly his agility and speed, which allow him to execute high-flying kicks and acrobatic moves. His agility allows him to avoid strikes and counterattack with precision. Flexibility and agility. Boyka's flexibility is showcased in several of his acrobatic high kicks and spinning attacks. This skill makes him unpredictable in the ring and difficult for opponents to anticipate. Strength. Boyka is physically strong, capable of overpowering opponents in grappling situations. His mix of brute force and precision makes him a dangerous fighter both on the feet and on the ground. Mixed martial arts expertise. Boyka is renowned for his ability to blend various martial arts disciplines, making him one of the most versatile fighters in the Undisputed series. Sambo. Boyka's main martial art is Sambo, a Russian combat sport that emphasizes throws, joint locks, and submissions. His grappling and control in close quarters fighting are formidable. Muay Thai and kickboxing. Boyka is highly skilled in striking, particularly with his devastating kicks, elbows, knees, and punches. His explosive strikes and agility make him deadly in stand-up exchanges. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu (BJJ). While Boyka doesn't specialize in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he shows the ability to execute submissions and defend against them when needed. Acrobatic strikes. Boyka is known for his breathtaking aerial moves, including spinning back kicks and leaping roundhouse kicks, which often take opponents by surprise. Resilience and endurance. Boyka's ability to endure hardship is one of his defining qualities. In Undisputed III and Boyka, Undisputed IV, he faces significant physical injuries, most notably his knee injury, that would have sidelined other fighters, but Boyka's relentless perseverance allows him to continue pushing forward. 3. Evolution over the films. Undisputed II. Last Man Standing. Role. Boyka is introduced as the main antagonist, the reigning champion of a brutal Russian prison fight league. He is arrogant, cruel, and has no moral compass. His pride and belief that he is the best fighter are key to his character. His downfall comes when he is defeated by George Iceman Chambers in the final battle, which begins to unravel his perception of invincibility. Undisputed III. Redemption. Transformation. In Undisputed III, Boyka's career is in jeopardy due to a knee injury, and he is forced to confront the consequences of his violent lifestyle. He enters an underground tournament not to reclaim his title but to find redemption. This film marks the beginning of Boyka's transformation, from an arrogant fighter to someone who is searching for a sense of purpose beyond violence. His redemption is tested when he chooses to save a fellow fighter instead of focusing solely on winning the tournament. Boyka. Undisputed IV. Redemption achieved. In the fourth installment, Boyka is no longer fighting for pride or personal glory. He participates in a tournament to raise money for a woman's family, showing how far he has come from his ruthless beginnings. Boyka's character arc concludes with him fully embracing the values of honor, selflessness, and responsibility. His evolution from antagonist to antihero is complete, as he seeks to atone for his past actions and build a legacy beyond violence. 4. Moral and philosophical themes. Redemption. Boyka's story is primarily about redemption. His journey is one of self-discovery, where he must atone for the violence he has inflicted on others. In the process, he learns that true strength lies not in physical prowess but in the ability to change, to accept responsibility, and to help others. Self-reflection. Throughout the films, Boyka becomes more self-aware. He begins to question his past behavior and the motivations behind his actions. In Undisputed III and Boyka, Undisputed IV, his moral conflict is a central theme, and he struggles with the idea of being a better person while still being a fighter. This introspection allows him to grow, and his character arc represents a path from arrogance to humility. Honor. Boyka's understanding of honor evolves over the course of the series. Early on, he fights for dominance and personal gain. As his character develops, Boyka fights for reasons of morality and a desire to protect others. His sense of honor extends beyond the ring and reflects his personal growth. 5. Legacy and impact. Boyka has become a beloved figure among fans of action films, particularly for the depth of his character and the incredible fight choreography. His journey from villain to antihero resonates with audiences, as it shows that even the most flawed individuals can change. Scott Adkins' portrayal of Boyka is often praised for bringing emotional depth to an action character, something not typically found in martial arts films. Boyka's impact on the Undisputed franchise is significant, as he has become the focal point of the series, with later films shifting focus from the original protagonist, George Chambers, to Boyka's own journey. His character is a symbol of growth, redemption, and the idea that it's never too late to change one's path.